Hello, good evening. This is over and over and over again. My name is Richard, and this is Euro 2022 Daily Live. Coming up the other side of this.
We'll be alright with Ellen White. Take the lead with Beth Mead. Williamson gets the job done, and Lauren Hemp is heaven sent. Hear the lionesses roar. Left foot, right foot, header. Left foot, right foot, head. I'm supporting England, cause it's left foot, right foot, head.
Now, if you do like that song, Left Foot, Right Foot, Head, it was on this CD, The Beautiful Game. There's a link to it in the description, but you can win this signed copy. Just subscribe to the channel and put your prediction in for how many goals England will score in the group stage. There is one game left on Friday against Northern Ireland. We've scored 9 already. So put your guess in. If you get it right, you might well win this fantastic signed copy of this CD by Pete Drake and Kay Spink. The Beautiful Game is the other song on here. And that's really good as well. That's what we play on the outro. So don't forget to enter that. And if you are new to the channel, if you do enjoy what we do obviously covering the Euros every day. We also obviously cover the Arsenal men and the Arsenal women as well during the regular season. So please consider subscribing. So tonight, then, what we got coming up? Well, we're going to look back on last night, the Group B games. Obviously, Germany against Spain was the big one, wasn't it, last night, which Andreas was at. He did the vlog for us. Hope you've watched that on the channel. If you did, hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, Germany did win that game, which actually puts them through to the quarterfinals as group winners, as same as England. So what that means is that we cannot face Germany in the quarterfinals. In fact, we can't face Germany now until the final, should we both get there. So in a way, that's good news. But anyway, that's just the way that's worked out. It was a good win for Germany, wasn't it? In the end, I thought Spain played well. They had a lot of possession. They moved the ball well, but when it came to the final third, they just maybe lacked that killer instinct, didn't they? Germany did defend well. Obviously, I was watching that game from the point of view of thinking to myself, you know what? These are teams. One of these teams we're probably going to play in the quarterfinals. So I was kind of looking at them, looking at their strengths and their weaknesses. Obviously, it can only be Spain out of those two. And there is a slim chance, I guess, for one of the other two in that group, which is, of course, Finland and no, it's not Finland, is it? It's Iceland. No, it is Finland, isn't it, in that group? Finland and Denmark. Of course, Denmark could also sneak through in second place should they beat Spain on Saturday. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I looked at that game last night and I thought, you know what, not Sweden. I've just been watching Sweden. I actually thought Spain played well. But that's a team that I can see us beating. I know it's not going to be easy. We drew 0-0 with them, didn't we, in the Arnold Clark Cup? We know what a good side they are, but they are lacking that goal threat, aren't they, with their 2 injuries? And, you know, the way that Germany played, they defended well. And I think if we have to play Spain, if we defend well, I think we can do a similar job on them as Germany did. And, you know, score a goal or 2 on the counter-attack. And hopefully that will be enough to put us through. But that's all to come, really. I say, you know, it could be Denmark. And having watched the Denmark game, they didn't overly impress me. They haven't overly impressed me in either of their 2 games, actually. So if they were to beat Spain and sneak in, I guess that would be the best result maybe for us. But ultimately, from an England perspective, we don't need to worry too much about who we're playing. We are in great form. You saw how great we were against Norway. We shouldn't fear anybody, should we? We can just go out there, hopefully enjoy ourselves and get the result. And if we do that, then I'm sure everyone will be delighted. So, yeah, so Germany won the group. They do look very good, don't they? They were very good in the attacking sense against Denmark. And last night, they were very good defensively, wasn't they? They kept Spain at arm's length most of that game. There was that good save, wasn't there, by the goalkeeper right near the end. Had Spain got one back then, you never know. They could have maybe found a way back to get a draw. But ultimately, I think Germany probably deserved to win that on their just how solid they were. They were so difficult to break down, and they did pose a threat, of course, on the counter-attack. Of course, Spain could have had a red card. There was that decision, wasn't there, when Germany were clean through on goal. Was it a foul? Yeah, possibly was. Could have been a red card, but it wasn't given. And in the end, of course, Germany ran out, I wouldn't say comfortable winners, but I mean, a 2-0 victory is a great result against Spain. And I say it puts Germany as group winners into the last 8, where they'll play either Norway or Austria, depending on, of course, who wins that game on Friday in our group. Of course, we'll play either Spain or Denmark in the quarterfinals. So we'll have to see what happens there. Of course, this afternoon, just about 20 minutes, 15 minutes ago, there was a game in Group C, just finished. Sweden 2, Switzerland 1. Another good game, actually, an enjoyable game of football. A few VAR decisions in the end. There was a penalty given to Switzerland in the first half, a foul on Noel Moritz, actually, who had a decent game again for Switzerland. But I thought it wasn't a penalty when I first saw it. And the referee was told to go and look at the screen, which he did, and then overruled the decision and didn't give the penalty, which I thought was the right call. It was quite an even game, really. I thought Sweden were the better side. They just lacked a little bit of a cutting edge. It was good to see Stina Blackstenius, of course, our very own Stina, start the game. I thought she played quite well. She didn't get the service that she really needed. She should have scored a goal in the second half when the goalkeeper dropped the ball. But in the end, Sweden did get the win. They did take the lead. It was Rolfo who had a good game against Holland in the game that we were at the weekend, that she took her goal well. But straight after, pretty much Switzerland's only shot on target, I think it was. Ramona Bachmann equalised, a good goal. Again, goalkeeper punched across. Maybe instead of trying to catch it, it fell to Bachmann on the edge of the box. Good finish, curled it into the corner, and that made it 1-1 straight away. And looked as though we were going to get the third draw in a row in this group. But in the last 10 minutes, Sweden did win it. It was the substitute, Hannah Bennison, of course, plays for Everton. She got the goal. Good finish, actually, from the edge of the box. A first-time shot of her right foot that curled away from the goalkeeper. And Sweden then had 2 goals disallowed. It was Blomqvist, the other substitute, 2 goals disallowed by offside. The first one, a slightly tight decision. The second one, I think, a bit more clearer. So it finished 2-1 to Sweden. So Sweden now are almost through, aren't they? Now, this game does hold a little bit of interest for us, because there's a possibility, should we get to the semi-final, we may well play one of the teams that qualifies out of this group, possibly the group winners, if they also get through. So Sweden could be a team that we face later on in the tournament. And I thought they played well. I thought they played well against Holland, but they just seem to lack a goal threat, don't they? They just not look as though they're going to score enough goals. I thought, I didn't think they used Stina as well as they could. They didn't give her the right service, but she should have scored. I think it was 1-1 at the time. The goalkeeper dropped the ball. It unexpectedly fell to her, and she got a shot away. It lacked a little bit of conviction, and the defender cleared it off the line, which was a shame. Terry says, good evening, Richard. Germany did look strong last night. Well deserved the win. No, I thought they definitely deserved the win. Terry says, first hit the like button again. Come on, people. Thanks, Terry. You're always first in, aren't you? Which is always nice. Yeah, I thought Germany did look strong. It was a different sort of Germany, wasn't it, to how they played against Denmark. I thought Denmark, they were on the front foot. They took the game to Denmark. Really good attacking performance. Whereas last night against Spain, they were quite happy, seemed to let Spain have the ball, and they could deal with most of the things that Spain threw at them. Spain had 1 or 2 good opportunities they didn't take, and Germany, of course, got the goals at good times. I mean, they were gifted the first one. Let's be honest, a terrible clearance by the goalkeeper. But yeah, they did probably deserve to win overall. I thought they looked really strong, really solid. And I'll say the good news for us, and maybe for Andreas as well, is that we can't meet Germany until the final now, which is probably a good thing, isn't it? And that would be a great final, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. But loads of football to play between now and then, isn't there? So lots can happen. Maybe neither of us will get to the final. Who knows? But yeah, it was a good result for Germany. They've won the group. They are through as group winners. So yeah, it's they will play either Austria or Norway. Now you would imagine they'll be strong favourites to win that game, wouldn't they? Against them, and then in the semi-final, they could well play the team that wins Group D, which is being played tomorrow. Of course, France are the massive favourites to win that group. And of course, they will play in the quarterfinals. Who came second in the group that's playing today? Of course, there is a game at 8 o'clock as well. Holland against Portugal. Both teams, of course, drew their first game. Holland played well in the second half, I thought, against Sweden, but again, maybe not quite. Lacked a little bit of a cutting edge, really. And of course, Viv's out tonight as well, isn't she? Because of the COVID test that she had positive the other day. So they're going to miss her. She was player of the match on Saturday, and that's a blow, isn't it? That's a real shame, actually, for her that she's going to miss this game. But I'm hoping Holland can get through because they're a great team, and obviously we want we want Viv to progress in the competition, don't we? And Russ is in the chat as well. How you doing, Russ? Good evening to you as well, mate. Hope you are well. Hope you're enjoying the Euros. I say for me, I think all the games have been entertaining, haven't they, so far? There hasn't been a goalless draw. There hasn't really been a dull game. Some of the games have had dull patches in them, but that's like any game, isn't it? But I think they've all had drama, they've all had quality, they've all had some good goals as well. They've had a little bit of controversy, some VAR stuff's gone on, but I think that the standard of refereeing overall has been pretty good in this competition. Actually, it's refreshing to see some of the refereeing in the WSL hasn't always been that good. I have to say, not good at all, and so it's good to see that in this competition that the refereeing is good. Of course, VAR isn't using the WSL at this time, is it? So it's been a big help. It's helped a few big decisions, hasn't it, in some of the games so far. We've had a couple going in our favour, haven't we? In our two games. So and of course there was a few tonight, wasn't there, in that Sweden against Switzerland game. So yeah, I think the refereeing's been good, and it's been a really enjoyable tournament actually. And we're coming down to the final round of group games starting soon, haven't we? We've got, of course, tonight, as I say, Holland against Portugal. That's the second round, end of the second round in Group C. And then tomorrow, the second round of group games finishes in Group D. Of course, France are going to be massive favourites to win that group. They play Belgium, and the earlier game is Italy against Iceland, which Iceland could maybe sneak through, couldn't they, in second place perhaps, if they can beat Italy. So that's going to be interesting for tomorrow. But of course, tonight, I say I want to look forward to this game, Holland against Portugal. I say both teams drew their games at the weekend. Portugal were 2-0 down in 5 minutes, weren't they, against Switzerland, came back, maybe could have won that game towards the end. And of course, I was at that Holland game, as I said, and you know, they didn't, I don't know, they didn't play great. In the second half, they were much better. They obviously got the goal, which Viv was heavily involved in, but I thought they lacked belief in the final third, and they didn't create a lot of chances. A lot of the ball, a lot of sideways, backwards passing without having any real penetration. And obviously, without Viv tonight, you have to wonder where the goals are going to come from. And Beerenstein, of course, will probably play up front tonight for Holland. She's a very good player, as we know, and she maybe can offer them a goal threat. But I've seen Holland twice now live in the last few weeks. Of course, the game against England in the friendly when they lost 5-1, and the game on Saturday against Sweden. And yeah, they've been a little bit disappointing. I was expecting a little bit more from them actually, and they've not really hit the heights yet. But still early in the tournament. If they can put in a good performance tonight, get the 3 points, then they are likely to qualify, aren't they? In fact, I'm sure a win would pretty much definitely put them through, wouldn't it? With the last game to come against Switzerland, who are out, aren't they? I would have thought now they've only got 1 point, haven't they? Even if they beat Holland, that'll put them on 4 points. Sweden are on 4 points. They can't finish above Sweden because Sweden have beaten them. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. They may be a sneak in second place still, Switzerland. But anyway, if Holland win tonight, they're pretty much through, aren't they? Let's be honest. And it'll be good to see. In fact, if they come second, I'll be seeing them play the winners of Group D next Saturday at Rotherham in the quarterfinal, which I'm looking forward to. So, but yeah, I've always enjoyed watching Holland play. You know, the men and the women, they always play great style of football. I love the orange kit as well. It's just iconic, isn't it? Maybe the first ever World Cup I remember was 1978, where of course Holland reached the final, and that they were great to watch then. So they've always been a football nation that I've always had a bit of a soft spot for, actually. So I would quite like Holland to get through this group. And I say potentially could meet England later on in the competition. So we'll see how that one works out. But yeah, so let's. Terry says there, Kushti, cheers, Russ. How much do you want for me to buy my CD off you? Hope you do well. Well, neither of you might win yet. Don't get, I know you both put in pretty solid guesses now, actually, when you look at it. Obviously, Terry put 13 and Russ has gone for 14. And so we've got 9 already in the group with that Northern Ireland game to come. So you're both in with a good chance, actually. But who knows? Neither of you might win yet. So don't get too excited. But somebody might win this CD, and it is great. And it is definitely worth winning. And I'll make sure that I get it out straight away, so you'll be able to play it throughout the rest of the tournament, all the way, hopefully following the Lionesses all the way to the final. That's what we want, don't we? So So yeah, Russ says if I win it, I'll treasure it forever. No, and I would definitely, you should definitely treasure it forever, Russ, because it's a fantastic CD, and it's definitely worth treasuring. It needs to go in a little case actually somewhere. Once you've obviously played it a few times for the rest of the tournament. I've got mine in the car actually. My copy's in the car, and it's been played on a loop for the last week or so. So it is really good. So yeah, one of you two might win it, and you know, I kind of hope maybe one of you do, because you know, you guys have been big supporters of the channel, so it'd be nice if one of you win. But you know, I can't influence it. I don't know how many goals England are going to score, do I? So that's down to them on Friday. So we'll see. But yeah, so I'll say Holland tonight. Really looking forward to that. They're going to be massive favourites, aren't they, against Portugal? And of course, Portugal technically shouldn't even be in a competition, should they? Because they didn't actually qualify. Or are they going to do a Denmark from 1992, when of course Denmark, back in a competition that was in Sweden, actually they, didn't qualify, did they? Because it was Yugoslavia at the time. They were at war. So they weren't able to compete, and Denmark took their place and went on to win it, didn't they? So maybe Portugal are going to fancy their chances of doing that. They certainly did well at the weekend, came back from 2-0 down against Switzerland to get a draw. And yeah, they're going to fancy their chances. But I'd be amazed if Holland don't win this game, even though they've been a little bit off form, I think, in their game so far, and say some of the friendlies as well. But I do think they'll have enough, even without Viv, to maybe get the win tonight. To put them through, and then see who's going to win the group and who's going to come second. And that may well influence, one, it's going to influence who I see next Saturday in the quarterfinal, but also it's going to influence who England could potentially meet in the semi-final should we get there. So yeah, it's an interesting game, and yeah, my money's on Holland to win that. I think they should be too strong. I'm going to go maybe 3-1. I'm not going to completely write off Portugal because they showed at the weekend that they've got something about them. But I just think Holland have got too much quality, and I think Holland will win. Will win 3-1, which will obviously put them top of the group on goal difference. So they may well win the group. Who knows? I wouldn't mind seeing Sweden again in the quarterfinals live, because their fans were fantastic the other night. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed that atmosphere that they created. So I wouldn't mind if it was them. But to be honest, I don't care who it is. We're just going to be grateful to see a knockout game, one of the early knockout games before, of course, a semi-final, which we'll be at as well at Sheffield on the 26th, which, as things stand, assuming England win the quarter-final, England will be playing in that semi-final, and that will be a great night from Sheffield. So obviously there'll be a vlog up of that, and if England win, that will be worth watching. I'm sure you'll agree. Before we kind of move on, really, what I do want to do is I want to thank the guys, Amar, Matt and Andreas, for the vlogs that they've done so far in this tournament for the games that they've been at. It's been fantastic, actually. All three of them have done great work, and it's given the channel the opportunity to give you guys some content to experience bits and pieces of what it's been like to have been at some of these games, because I know not everyone can get to the games, and I hope that some of the content that the vlogs in particular have given you a little bit of a flavour of what it's been like at the games. Obviously, the vlogs that I've put together as well for the games I've been at, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. I've certainly think it's given the channel a little bit of extra content, and hopefully people are enjoying it. And if you are, don't forget to give those videos a like as well, because I say it's great that Andreas, Matt, and Amar have given up their time at the games to film some stuff and get their thoughts on video and stuff like that for you all to enjoy. So I just want to thank them all for that. Terry says Viv is a big loss. Yeah, absolutely. But I hope they have enough to win tonight. Yeah. I think what's her name, Berenstein is probably going to play. She's a good player. We've seen how good she is. So I'm sure that she'll be able to fill. It's big boots, isn't it, to fill when Viv's not playing? But I'm sure she'll be able to step in and do a good job. And hopefully Holland, can get the win and get through, because we do want them to progress. They're a great footballing nation, and we want to see more of Viv, don't we, in the competition, quite honestly. Talking of Viv, actually, I suppose it's probably quite a good time to look at this. So yeah, the Arsenal women's watch then, and there was 3 Arsenal women playing in the game this afternoon. Actually, Switzerland against Sweden, obviously for Switzerland. Captain Leah Walty, 101st cap for Switzerland for her, and Noel Moritz both started that game. In fact, they both played the full 90 minutes for Switzerland. And it was good to see Stina Blackstenius in the starting lineup for Sweden today. She only came off the bench at the weekend. She's been suffering from a little injury. I thought Stina played well. I just didn't feel as though she was given enough service. She should have scored that goal in the second half. And then she did get taken off with about 15 minutes to go. Again, I'm not sure how fit she is completely, but it was good to see her get a start. I thought Noel Moritz had a really good game, didn't she? It was that foul on her, wasn't it, early on, that almost gave a penalty to Switzerland. It was given as a penalty initially, and then it was overruled after a VAR check. And Leah Walty's just Leah Walty, isn't she? What a fantastic player she is. She holds it all together there tonight. She did for Switzerland. You can see how important she is. Yes, in the end, it wasn't enough to get Switzerland a result in the game, but yeah, she had another really good game, Leah Walty. So all three of the Arsenal women today who played well, which was nice to see. Unfortunately, I'll say the one Arsenal woman that we would have seen tonight, Viv, of course, isn't playing for Holland. So there's no one to look forward to tonight. And of course, yesterday as well, there wasn't any Arsenal women in action, but and actually, it won't be tomorrow either in Group D. So it's a little bit quiet on the Arsenal women front after obviously that game this afternoon. But yeah, I thought all three of them played well in the game. They all contributed well to their teams. And obviously, Stina will be delighted not only to have got a start, but of course that Sweden have won and have pretty much qualified, haven't they, for the quarterfinals. Hopefully, we'll see a bit more of Stina in this competition as well. So yeah, it has been another good day for the Arsenal women at Euros 2022, which you know it's been a good tournament for the Arsenal women, hasn't it, overall so far across all the different nations. And I say a lot of them are still going to progress into the quarterfinals. Of course, Austria could make progress as well, couldn't they? A couple of Arsenal women there, or Norway with Freedom Arnhem. So either way, we're going to have quite a few in the last 8, aren't we? Which is really good. So yeah, that's so that was the Arsenal women watch for today. Not a massive addition, but you know there was 3 played this afternoon and all played well. Just a shame Stina couldn't have got that goal that I'm desperate for her to score in this tournament, but she will get goals, I'm sure, the longer that Sweden stay in. So yeah, so basically then, Group A winners we know are England. Group B winners we know are Germany. Group C winners at the moment, we're not quite sure. A lot of it will depend on what happens in the game tonight as well. Sweden are currently top, but with 4 points. Holland, all the other teams have 1 point, don't they? Holland, Portugal, and Switzerland. But Holland and Portugal are playing tonight. And if that game finishes in a victory to either side, they're going to join Sweden on 4 points, aren't they? And they're going to be massive favourites to qualify as well for the quarterfinals. So we'll have to see how that one works out. And then, of course, tomorrow night is Group D, isn't it? The final group. There'll be the final round of second games. Obviously, France got off to that great start, didn't they? Beating Italy 5-1. You'd imagine they're going to qualify. They play Belgium tomorrow, and in the earlier game, it is, of course, the outsiders, or dark horses, I should say, Iceland, who play Italy. And I think the winner of that game, if there is a winner of that game, is likely to qualify in second place, you'd imagine, wouldn't you? Looking at the way the group is. So, yeah, that could be an interesting finish to that group. I think that's going to be an interesting game tomorrow, the early game, which I say kicks off at 5 o'clock, Italy against Iceland. And I say that the late game will be France against Belgium. So that'll be Group D. And then, of course, Friday, our group A, is going to be concluded. It's already concluded in terms of our game against Northern Ireland. We've won the group, and Northern Ireland, unfortunately, are out. So the interest in terms of the group and who goes through is going to be on the other game on Friday, Austria against Norway. Now, obviously, we've seen both of these two teams play, haven't we? Contrasting results against England. Austria are very, very tight at the back. They're very difficult to score against. Norway do have quality in the final third. They didn't get the opportunity to show it against us. You'd imagine that having lost that game 8-0, they're going to be determined not to concede too many goals in that game. So I can see that being a very, very tight game, and it's difficult to call that one, isn't it? We will look at these games a little bit more tomorrow. Tomorrow night's show will be later. It's going to be 8:30 because on a Thursday I play football and I don't get back till after 8 o'clock. So that'll be 8:30 tomorrow. We will look properly ahead to the England game and the Austria Norway game, as well as Group A concludes. And I say the rest of the groups will be decided, of course, over the weekend. And of course, starting next week, we'll know exactly how the quarterfinals line up. Of course, England will be playing in the first quarterfinal on Wednesday at Brighton. Who will we be facing? That is still up in the air, isn't it? It's going to be Denmark or Spain. We'll know more on Saturday evening when that game is played. They're playing each other. The winner of that will qualify in second place, and that's who we will face. So it's going to be interesting, that game as well. So there's so much great stuff, isn't there, to look forward to every day in the Euros, isn't there? So many great games, so many great players as well. So what we're doing is, I say tomorrow we'll have our show. It'll be 8:30. So we'll catch the end of, well, actually not the end, we'll catch midway through the evening game between France and Italy, which I'll have on the screen. Andreas will be able to join us tomorrow. He's flown back today from London. He's landed safely in Germany, and he'll be on the show with us tomorrow to look ahead to the England game. Obviously, we're going to get his thoughts on his great trip to London. Obviously, the 2 games that he saw, everything else that's gone on as well. So we'll have a big catch up with Andreas tomorrow night on the show as well, and we will have a little look at the France-Belgium game as well, which will be taking place tomorrow evening. Of course, on Friday we'll be doing a watch along at the England-Northern Ireland game, which is going to be good. So we'll probably go live again at 7:30. We can, look ahead to the 2 games that's being played on Friday, look at the team news, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll crack on with the match commentary and all that kind of stuff on Friday. It's going to be a good game, that is as well. No pressure on England to a certain degree. There's a bit of pressure on who's going to win the CD, though, isn't there? The shootout between Russ and Terry, it seems, at the moment. But it's not too late to get your guess in. If you do want to win this CD, it is a signed copy, as you can see there. Pete and Kay Spink, Pete Drake and Kay Spink there have signed this copy. It's a special edition, and it is very, very good. I'll give you a quick little preview of the tunes that you can expect to win, and they are very, very good indeed. This is probably my favourite one. I should have a favourite, but this one is Left Foot, Right Foot.
Left foot, right foot, header. Left foot, right foot, head. I'm supporting England as it's left foot, right foot, head.
Oh, catch it.
We'll be alright with Ellen White. Take the lead with Beth Mead. Williamson gets the job done, and Lauren Hemp is heaven sent. Hear the lionesses roar.
So that's that one then, Left Foot, Right Foot, header. There's a couple of other verses, brilliant stuff, great lyrics. And the other one is, again, it's a great song, a little bit more of a serious song maybe, but again, it's got great lyrics. This is A Beautiful Game, and this is also on the CD.
Their shin pads, hairband, rainbow laces, brand new fans and different races. Another camp with COVID cases, an England squad with brand new faces. Here we go, the summer's here. Meet your friends and grab a beer. Football's on, the beautiful game, from St Mary's to Bramall Lane. It's just a game, but it's our beautiful game.
That's A Beautiful Game, which is the lead track on the CD, the EP, The Beautiful Game. Brilliant stuff. That song's a very it's got a very 80s electronic kind of feel to it. So if you liked stuff like Yazoo and stuff like that from the 80s, it's got a very that sort of vibe to it. Great song. And I say Left Foot, Right Foot, header is the catchy one, which I say that's for me that's this year's Free Lion, isn't it? So if you want to win that CD, very simple. Subscribe to the channel and just put your guess in for how many goals you think England will score in the group. With 1 game to go, we've got 9 already. So maybe guess more than 9. Unfortunately, some people have guessed less than 9, so they're probably not going to win. But it's all about guessing. So put your guess in, and this will be yours. Potentially with CD, signed CD, The Beautiful Game by Pete Drake and Kay Spink. And there is a link in the description. So if you do want to download it and all that kind of stuff, you can on there, and I'm sure you'll definitely enjoy it because it's fantastic, isn't it? Which is good to see. Terry says, I just watched an interview with Jonas. He was saying what a great player Blackstenius is and how well she played today. Yeah, you see, I agree with that. I thought she did play well today. And I noticed on Saturday as well, watching her again, we were right behind the goal and she came on, they were attacking that goal that we were sitting behind, and her movement off the ball is absolutely sensational movement. The ball doesn't always get to her. So, that's an issue that obviously Sweden have got to solve. I think if they can get better service to her, I think she could be key to them progressing well in this tournament, actually. But yeah, I mean, it's great that Jonas was impressed with her performance. I thought she played really well today, actually. I thought she held the ball up well. She played a part in that first goal. Lovely little layoff for the goal that Rolfo scored to give Sweden a lead. And yes, I'm a little bit disappointed she didn't stick that other one away, the chance she had later on. But yeah, she had a good game today. And when you think she's probably not still quite 100% fit, I'm sure she's going to improve as hopefully Sweden progress through. I'm sure she's going to be a key player, but she's probably not going to win the Golden Boot now, is she? Because she's 4 goals behind our very own Beth Mead. I think she's in pole position, but maybe not. Still early days, of course. Terry says, it reminds me of the Pet Shop Boys. Yeah, it's got a little bit of Pet Shop Boys vibe to it. Yeah, that kind of all them electronic kind of early to mid 80s electronic kind of music that was out. It's very... it is very similar to a lot of that kind of stuff, really, which I love. So it's right. It was always right up my street anyway. But yeah, Pet Shop Boys. I can see the Pet Shop Boys in there as well, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is good. It is good stuff. So let's hope somebody can enjoy the CD if you guess the right amount of goals. So yeah, but no, I agree with that. I thought she had a great game today, Stina. Again, I thought she played well the other night. So yeah. And it's good that she's impressing Jonas. I think it's going to be a big season for Stina, isn't it, in the WSL? She only joined us in January. She's got 7 goals in less than half a season worth of games. So I'm expecting big things from her next season. I think she could really challenge for that Golden Boot. I really do. Yes, we know Sam Kerr's going to score loads of goals, tap-ins and all that kind of stuff. But I think Stina could be there to really put pressure on Sam Kerr for the Golden Boot. I really do. And the way that she links up with Viv as well is an exciting prospect, isn't it? I mean, yes, Arsenal women do need to sign some players. I think we do. 3 or 4 players we need to sign to strengthen the squad. And we will talk about that as the season kind of gets closer. It doesn't start until September. Well, the WSL doesn't start until September. There is, of course, going to be a qualifier for the Champions League, which we will have to play before the season starts. So we'll see who we get drawn against in that and go from there. But yeah, we will be looking at the Arsenal women's season or the start of the season once the Euros is out of the way. We'll get into August and we can preview that. And of course, once the Euros is out of the way, we'll then be moving straight into the Premier League season, won't we? Because Arsenal's first game is the Friday after the final. So away at Crystal Palace. And I say that week, we will be starting with our brand new shows, which is going to be good. So what we're going to be doing is on possibly towards the end of the last week of the Euros, there's a couple of days with no games on. We're going to get the guys on. They're going to talk about their new shows that they're doing for the new season, and we'll look ahead to all of that. And yeah, that's going to be really good for the new season coming up. Loads of great coverage, loads of great new shows, some new presenters. So, if you're getting sick of me, that's fine. We'll have new people coming on and doing shows as well. So, and we'll have all the usual stuff that we had last season. We'll still have the Arsenal Women's Show. Slightly different name this season. It's going to be called Arsenal Women's Weekly. Same guys on, Andreas and Matt and Amar, Harry. Could have a few more special guests as well, actually, joining us for that show. And we will also have, of course, the normal Arsenal show. We're going to move it to a Monday next season. It's going to be called the Arsenal Review, looking back on the weekend's game, all that kind of stuff. So all those usual things, watch-alongs as well, vlogs as well. We're going to have a few more vlogs coming next season as well. So loads and loads of great stuff on the channel. But for now, we are going to be focused for the next couple of weeks or so on the Euros, because it's a great tournament and we think it deserves to be spoken about, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, that's what we're focusing on for the time being. Terry says they only saw the last 10 minutes of the early game today. This is why we need highlights. No, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, when the games kick off early, I mean, I was lucky today. I've was working from home. I'm working from home the rest of the week actually, so I had it on. I was still working, but I had it on in the background. And yesterday I was in the office, so I missed pretty much the first half of the game yesterday. So yeah, I agree. There should be some sort of highlights, but I say you can watch the highlights on the BBC Sport. It's not really enough. It's not a proper highlight show. It's just 2 or 3 minute highlights of the game, which isn't enough, is it? But anyway, yes, they're not doing highlights. But no, I agree. The early game is difficult, isn't it? You know, there's not many people around at 5 o'clock, is there, that can actually sit down and watch a game? I mean, I can't sit down and watch it at 5 o'clock. But yeah, so it is an issue. Yeah, but luckily, the 5 o'clock games finish on tomorrow, don't they? Tomorrow's the last 5 o'clock game, isn't it? Because the final group games are all kick off at 8 o'clock, and then all the knockout games kick off at 8 o'clock as well in the final. So there's only one more 5 o'clock game to play, which is tomorrow's one, which is Italy against Iceland. That's the final 5 o'clock kickoff game. So yeah, once we get that out of the way, everything else is 8 o'clock all the way through. So we should be fine for most of them, shouldn't we, all the way through? So yeah, but yeah, the 5 o'clock games have been tricky. I've missed a few bits and pieces of them, unfortunately, but yeah, I say there's only one more of those to come. So what's our score predictions then for Holland tonight? Holland against Portugal. Fair play to Portugal for the comeback they made on Saturday, but you'd imagine Holland will win. So I'm going 3-1. Let me know what you think about that particular game in the comments. We're going to watch that game very, very soon, which is going to be really good. And then I say tomorrow is the end of the second round of games, isn't it, in Group D? Terry says, I must admit, really missing the Friday show. Nice bunch of guys on it. Had some good people added to the chat. No, you're right. I mean, I've missed all the regular shows actually that we were doing on the channel. You know, last summer, what I decided to do was have a complete break from the channel. I didn't do any shows at all from sort of like May until August. I had a complete break. Even though we had the Euros last summer, I didn't do anything on the channel for it. I just felt I needed a break. Whereas this summer, I really wanted to cover this tournament. I'm glad I am, but I agree. I miss it. I do miss the usual shows, but they will be back soon. Obviously, the first week in August, we'll be kicking off with the first show that week will be on a Monday, the 1st of August. That's going to be the first Arsenal review, which will be looking ahead to the new season. And then all the new shows will kick in that week as well. So, yeah, they'll be coming around soon. And, of course, there'll be the women's show back on the Friday. Will that be coming up at the end of August? We'll start that back up again when the European qualifier game is taking place. Terry's put his guess in 4-1. Oh, no, okay, 4-1. See, are they going to score 4 without Viv, do you think? Don't forget, I don't think Jackie Groening can play either. She tested positive for COVID as well, didn't she? So I'm not sure if she can play, and she's a great player as well. So I don't know. It's two big players missing for Holland. Terry says, need to get Mrs. B on one of the shows. Yeah, she doesn't really like being on, really, if I'm honest. She's a bit reluctant to come on when I do the vlogs with her sometimes. You know, she doesn't really feel confident enough to do it. But maybe her confidence will build if she does them a bit more. But we'll see. I'll maybe try and convince her to come on maybe one of the shows. She'll definitely come on the vlog when the England. Well, I say the England game, the semi-final that we're going to, hopefully involving England. But yeah, she's not that comfortable doing it, unfortunately. So. But anyway, I'll see what I can do. See if she can make a few more appearances maybe over the next season, perhaps. But she'll be out on some of the vlogs that we do, going to especially the vlogs from the women's games because she really enjoys those, and that'll be good. So we'll see what happens later on in the season. But yeah, it's not really a thing, really, to be fair. But you know, I'll try and see if I can persuade her to do 1 or 2 bits and pieces for you, Terry. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, there is a lot of great new stuff coming up on the channel. It's, you know, I haven't rebranded the channel or anything like that. It's going to be the same. It's just, we're just going to have some new shows, really, just to try and give you guys some different content to enjoy as well. You know, there's so much out there, isn't there? It's quite difficult, isn't it, to do different content because everybody is doing the same stuff. You can talk about games, you know, there's only so much that you can do, really. What I've definitely avoided and what I'm going to continue to avoid is transfer shows. You know, that's one of the reasons why I took the summer off last year. It's one of the reasons why I haven't done any Arsenal shows through the summer, because I don't like all the transfer rumours and stuff like that. I'll put videos out when we sign a player, talking about a player that we've just signed, that's fine. But all this rumours, are we signing this player? Have we put a bid in for these? Are we interested in him? No, it's all speculation. It's not for me. I'll wait until we sign players, and then we'll do some stuff on that. And then I say I'm not expecting there to be any live shows for Arsenal now until the very end of July, just to preview the new shows, and then the first week in August we'll crack on with it all then. So yeah, you won't find any transfer speculation shows on this channel, because that's not really what we do. It's not something that we want to do. There's plenty out there, isn't there? If you enjoy that sort of stuff, there's hundreds of channels that do all that transfer stuff, which is fine, but just not for us. So we'll be back with some Arsenal content, I say, from the end of the Euros essentially and into the new season, and we'll just start crack on, and that'll be really good. But in the meantime, I say we are going to focus on this great competition. That has been a great competition as well. I hope you've all been enjoying it as much as I have. Terry says there, all Arsenal players scored tonight. All ex-Arsenal players. Oh, right, yeah, the ex-Arsenal. Yeah, there is a few ex-Arsenal players for Holland, isn't there? Jill Royd, of course, scored on Saturday, the game that we were at. A really good goal, took it well, didn't she? Put it into the corner from the edge of the box. There's Dominic Janssen, of course, at the back. She probably won't score, will she? I don't suppose. And we've got who else is there? There's a couple of other players for Holland, isn't there? Oh, Van der Donk, of course. Danielle, she may well score as well. So yeah, maybe she might score as well. And of course the goalkeeper, but she was injured, wasn't she? So I don't know if she's playing actually. Let's see if I can get the team lineups actually for this game. Let's see if we can find the teams for you. See who is starting. Oh, here we go. We've got the lineups now. So for Holland, it's Van Domeslaar in goal. Of course, the reserve substitute goalkeeper who came on Saturday. So obviously, the other one's injured. They've got four at the back. It's Wilms, Van der Graat, Janssen, and Ollislagers. Then in midfield, it's Spitzer, Gilroyd, and Egarola. And then the front three is Van der Donk, Beerenstein, and Lika Martins, of course. So yeah, there's obviously no Viv on the bench. There's no Jackie Groening either due to COVID. So they're a little bit short, aren't they? But it's still a very strong Dutch team, isn't it? With some very, very good players. I say I'm quite looking forward to seeing Beerenstein play. I think she's a very good player. I'm looking forward to seeing her tonight. I think she'll score. Obviously, Lika Martins, we know how good she is. And Van der Donk and Jill Royd. As Terry says there, gutted when Royd left. What a talent. Yeah, she's a great player, Jill Royd, isn't she? She was a great player for Arsenal. We got some good memories of her. And of course, she's gone on to have great success with Wolfsburg, hasn't she? She did, of course, score against us in the Champions League. Now, I've got to be honest with you, in terms of the Portugal team, I don't really know any of their players, actually. It's Teixeira Pereira's in goal, Silva, Amondo, Ribeiro Gomez, De Silva Costa, and Gaspar Silva Marcio as their back four. Then you've got Norton, Jacom De Silva, and Ferreira Pinto are the three in midfield. And then it is Silva, Sousa Silva, and Borges is the front three for Portugal. So I don't know too much about them. I do apologise to anyone in Portuguese. Probably because there's not many that play in the WSL, is there? So I'm afraid I don't really know too much about the Portuguese team. But I was quite impressed with how they played the other day. I mean, I didn't see the game live because we were travelling to Sheffield, but I saw the highlights and they certainly had chances to have won that game. So I think they'll be a good team tonight, and I think they will, give Holland one or two problems. But, I still think Holland, despite missing the greatest player in the world, will still have enough to get the result, and I say pretty much put them through to the quarterfinals, and I look forward to seeing them play again later on in the tournament. So yeah, that's the Holland team anyway. So we have got a few ex-Arsenal players to enjoy, haven't we? Tonight, actually, Dominic Janssen, I've just noticed, hasn't started this game either, is she? So she's been, I wouldn't say dropped. I don't like to say dropped, probably rested. Terry says there, no Ronaldo, I can't believe that. Yeah, well, he must be injured, mustn't he? Perhaps, I don't know. He played a lot of football this last season, didn't he? And so maybe he's just injured. or perhaps he's on holiday. Who knows? I'm not really sure. But no, he's not playing today, Ronaldo, for Portugal, which is a shame actually, because if he was, it would have increased their chances of winning perhaps a little bit, wouldn't it? I suppose it's not fair though, is it, having Ronaldo play if Viv can't play? It's not. It wouldn't have been fair, would it? Terry says, I mean, as a name, yeah. Well, no, I mean, I don't know. See, they have probably got names, haven't they? That, you know, like the Brazilians and stuff like that. They're not always known by the name that is written down, are they? They've got like little names, haven't they? Some of them. There's a lot of Silvers and Costas and stuff like that. In fact, there's 3-4 Silvers in the team, which is quite good, isn't it? There's a Pinto on the bench, Mendes, Costa. You know, they're the Portuguese names, aren't they? But yeah, there's no Ronaldo. But anyway, yeah. So it should be a good game actually, because Portugal seem to play very exciting football. Holland, as we know, have got a great style as well. So I think this will be a really good game. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope there's going to be some more goals. I did maybe put the kiss of death on it earlier by saying there hasn't been a goalless draw yet in the tournament, and there hasn't been. I mean, if we went through the whole group stage with no goalless draws, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? For a competition. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened before. I do think the last round of group games, when some games isn't a lot riding on them anymore because teams are either through or they're out, and then we might see a few teams resting players, and we might get a few, sort of more dull games, shall we say? But I've certainly enjoyed it so far. And Terry says there, like Arteta equals jerk. Does it really? Well, I kind of agree with that if it does. I mean, the good thing about the summer, actually, one of the things I've enjoyed is that I haven't had to think about Arteta, really. And I haven't had to think about what's been going on at Arsenal. Yeah, of course, I've been keeping an eye on any transfers. And, of course, the transfers that we've made, the Gabriel Jesus one is pretty exciting, let's be fair. But we do need a lot more. But it's been enjoyable not to have to worry about Arsenal and not have to worry about what Arteta's doing actually for a while, and I've been enjoying it. So focusing, I'll say, on this competition instead. But I'll say once this is out of the way, unfortunately, we are going to have to worry about Arsenal again, and we are going to have to focus on that. And let's hope that it's going to be a better season. That's all we can say, really, isn't it, overall? And we reach the targets that we really want, which isn't coming fifth, whatever some people may have thought that was good. It isn't. And of course, in terms of the Arsenal women, we just want to try and go that one step further, don't we? Take that title off Chelsea. That's what we need. But I do think we need to sign a few players. So it's great that Jonas is in the studio looking very cool in his suit and his trainers and stuff like that, and talking a lot of sense. And it's great that we can see exactly how great his understanding of football is, and that's why he's such a great manager. But what I hope he's doing in between his time in the studio is I hope he is trying to sort out some new players and looking at new players and trying to get new players in the door. That's what we need, don't we? And I'm not expecting too many deals to happen while the Euros is on. Let's be honest, all the players are focused. Yes, we might get one or two in from outside this competition, outside of Europe, possibly. I do think we need 4 or 5 players, if I'm honest, in the squad, not necessarily in the first team. I think our first 11 is fantastic. It's just maybe a few backups here and there in certain positions. And obviously with Nikita Parrish gone to Man United, maybe we need someone to come in and replace her in the squad. I just feel as though, we don't really have. We've got Stina as the only out-and-out centre forward, really. Yes, Viv can play there, but we know how effective she is in the number 10. Yes, Caitlin Ford can play there as well, but we don't really have another, I consider, proper centre forward. And obviously on the left-hand side, yes, we've got Katie McCabe, and Caitlin Ford played well there, but I still think we need something else there. I think we need a more defensive midfield player, a replacement for if Leah Walt is injured. Kim Little, we can't expect her to keep playing 40 games a season, can we? So, yeah, that's something else we need, possibly another defender. So we've got some work there. Goalkeeper as well, because obviously Lydia Williams has gone. That was news yesterday. So we need a number 2 goalkeeper. I'm not sure if Hermione Cole is ready to be number 2 with the Champions League, and stuff like that. The second choice goalkeeper will probably play a few games. So I think we need a more experienced second choice goalkeeper to come in from somewhere as well. So there's a lot of work Jonas has got to do. He's been busy in the studio doing some great work for the BBC, but he does need to do his day job as well and get a few players on the go. I'm sure he's doing some stuff, and of course it's given him the opportunity, hasn't it, this tournament to watch some players as well. And I'm sure one or two or more have caught his eye in this tournament. They've certainly caught my eye, and there's a few that I will be looking at maybe on a future show. Once we get the Euros out of the way, heading into the new WSL season, there'll be a few names that I'll be putting out there that I kind of have impressed me in this tournament, and players that I think could help Arsenal and improve Arsenal. So we'll look at that as well. Terry says, Millie B, let's go all out. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get Millie, are we? Unfortunately. Yes, she would be a fantastic signing. It's like Millie Bright and Lauren Hemp. They're the two players that any team in the world would want in their team at this moment in time. And I would love to get both of them or either of them. It's just not going to happen, is it? There's absolutely no way that Emma is selling Millie Bright to us. Not a chance in hell. I mean, Millie Bright may well want to go if the opportunity came up, but there's not a chance in hell that Emma is selling her to us or giving her to us. Absolutely no chance at all. And the same with Lauren Hemp. There's no way Man City are going to let us take Lauren Hemp. Not a chance in hell. If either of those two players left their clubs, they'd go abroad, I believe. And that will be what happened. But yeah, I would take Millie Bright in a heartbeat. I think she's a brilliant defender. And she's what you want, isn't she? She just gets stuck in, wins the ball, good in the air, a great leader at the back, just a great defender. And that's, you can't have enough great defenders in your squad, can you? Quite honestly. So yeah, I would take her in a heartbeat, and I say and Lauren Hemp as well. But there's been a few others actually in this tournament I've looked at and thought, well, they look good. They could be a player that we could look at. Let's hope Jonas has had his eye on one or two as well. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not expecting much movement now until the end of the tournament. I think August is going to be a busy month for the Arsenal women in terms of transfers. I'm sure we'll get one or two in, or three or four in, hopefully. Maybe one or two others might leave, possibly. We've already lost a few, haven't we? I say Lydia's gone, Nikita Paris has gone, Anna Patton's gone out on loan, Lisa Evans has gone now permanently. Yes, she wasn't at the club last season anyway, so we're not kind of going to miss her in that sense. We miss her, but we're not going to miss her in terms of the team because she didn't play last season anyway. So yeah, I think we need something to come in. I'm sure we will. So yeah, let's hope Jonas is busy on that side of things as well, rather than just looking smart in the studio and talking a lot of sense. But it just makes me so happy that he's our manager when you hear him talking about the game. He made some great points today at half time in the Switzerland-Sweden game. He understands football, doesn't he? Or he understands tactically what's needed. And that's a great sign, isn't it, when you know he's our manager, and you know that at half time in games, he knows what he's doing. and that's great. So I've really enjoyed listening to him, actually. I didn't hear what he said about Stina because obviously I was getting ready to do the show as soon as that game finished, but I will catch up with that. And see what he had to say. But if he said she played well, I 100% agree, because definitely that was definitely the case. So yeah. Anyway, right. So we are heading down towards kickoff now, aren't we? Between Holland and Portugal. This game's at the Lee Sports Bridge, I think, isn't it? I'm trying to. Is that where it is? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's at Lee Sports Bridge. Or is it at Rotherham? No, it's at Lee Sports Bridge, isn't it? France are playing at Rotherham. So yeah, we're gonna go and enjoy that game now. Holland against Portugal. I'm going 3-1. Terry's going 4-1 to Holland. I think we all expect Holland to probably win, even though they are missing the great Viv. Oh, actually, some good COVID news on an Arsenal front. Lotta Wubben-Moy has rejoined the England squad following isolation with COVID, so she's back fit again. She was in training today. I've got a feeling if she's fit, she may well get some game time on Friday, actually. She may even start the game. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Millie Bright gets a rest in that game, and possibly Lotta comes in. I wouldn't be surprised if Leah Williamson maybe moves into midfield, but we will look at that, actually. Let's have a look here. Terry says, you've made it. Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, I had to delete a few kind of comments from someone spamming us, really, which... is unnecessary, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, I suppose it must mean I'm getting noticed from somewhere. But yeah, if you want to kind of share those kind of links, then maybe share them somewhere else because they're not welcome here, and you'll just keep getting blocked. So you're wasting your time, quite honestly. So yeah, but yeah, I suppose it does mean that the channel's getting noticed in the wrong places though, unfortunately. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lotta actually makes an appearance on Friday. I'll say maybe even start the game if she's fit. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, to see her get some minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of the other girls get some game time as well. But we'll look at that game in a bit more detail tomorrow when Andreas is with us. I'll say that's going to be at 8:30 tomorrow. So we'll have that on. We'll be looking at the France game as well against Belgium. That'll be on in the background. We'll kind of look at that, and we'll talk about obviously the England game on Friday, what we think the team lineup will be, and we can have a great catch up as well with Andreas with his trip to London, all the great things he's been up to, 3 great games that he saw, because he was at the Belgium-Iceland game with Matt, wasn't he? So we'll catch up with Andreas tomorrow, all that kind of stuff. And I say look back on the Holland game, look into the England game, and I say Austria-Norway as well. And we'll have a big catch up with the great Andreas as well. So that'll be coming up tomorrow at 8:30. And then, of course, Friday, the big watch along for the England game against Northern Ireland. We can relax and enjoy that one, can't we, without the pressure on for at least one game until the pressure starts again on Wednesday with the quarterfinal. Terry says, great news on one. No, it's great news. Yes, I was delighted when I saw that today, that she's back in training. She looked fit and healthy, which is great. And hopefully, I'll say she'll be ready to play some part on Friday, because I'm expecting a few changes for England, but we will talk about that. So that's that then. We're going to go and watch the great Holland, the great Jill Roord and the great Danielle van der Donk and all the others. We're going to enjoy watching Holland tonight. And I say I'll be back at 8:30 tomorrow with England against Northern Ireland preview. Look back on the game tonight. Look at the Group D as well, which is going to head tomorrow. And of course, the Austria-Norway game on Friday, which is going to decide who plays Germany in the quarterfinal. So that's going to be exciting as well, isn't it? Terry says, great show again, Richard. Enjoying these 1 hour shows. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying them as well. We'll have one pretty much every day in a tournament when I'm around, when I'm not at game. So tomorrow's going to be a little bit later, 8:30 tomorrow, because I say I'm playing football until 8 o'clock. So I won't be back home until about 10 past. And then I'll have to, cool myself down because it's going to be hot, and then and get ready to go. And Terry says, "Come on, you England girls! Yeah, come on, all you England girls. Actually, whoever you play for, some of them we don't like necessarily on a week-to-week basis when they're playing for Chelsea or Manchester City and all these kind of stuff. We don't want them to do well, but we're backing them all in this tournament. All the Lionesses, we're behind them. And don't forget your CD. You haven't got much time left, have you, to get your guess in to win this signed copy of the Beautiful Game CD by Pete Drake and Kay Spink. It is signed, as you can see on the bottom there. They have signed it, the pair of them. Look at that. Brilliant stuff. You can win this limited edition, special edition CD, the Beautiful Game. The left foot, right foot header, which is the opening song, and the closing song, which is the Beautiful Game. And it's fantastic. And it's a very 80s, electronic 80s kind of feel to it. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 with Andreas and possibly Amar and maybe Matt if they're around. And in the meantime, enjoy the Holland game. I know I will. And enjoy the game tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock if you can watch that. And I say, well, join us tomorrow at 8:30. Of course, in the meantime, as always, come on, you Lionesses, come on. It's coming home, isn't it? It is coming home. And we're getting excited for it now. But yeah, that's what comes out tomorrow. So join us tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Don't forget, put your guess in for the CD. Subscribe, put your guess in, and you can win that brilliant CD. This is the lead track, The Beautiful Game. It is fantastic. Pete Drake and Kay Spink. The link is in the description. I'll see you at 8:30 tomorrow, guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and put your guess in for the CD. See you later, guys. Enjoy the Holland game. We'll speak tomorrow. Ta-da.
There's shin pads, hairbands, rainbow laces, brand new fans and different races. Another camp with COVID cases, an England squad with brand new faces. Here we go, the summer's here.